Election day is here. Let's go ahead and take a live look at the White House this morning. It is decision day as the nation goes to the polls to decide who the next president of the United States will be.
This does not look like a second place finish.
We're going to win Pennsylvania, and we're going to show the world what America stands for.
All eyes will be on Arizona. Both candidates know the path to victory goes through our Grand Canyon state.
And not just for the White House, but also who will get the majority in the U.S. Senate. It could come down to the race between Senator Martha McSally and Democrat Captain Mark Kelly. The polls just opening this morning across Arizona. We have team coverage for you all across the valley, keeping you updated on how the voting process is going.
And we will also be speaking with our elections officials as they continue to count the record number of ballots being cast right now. Dropped off my ballot yesterday. The voter enthusiasm is for real.
Through the roof this
Yes.
morning. Yep, absolutely. Let's talk about that most accurate forecast as well. Some of you getting ready to get in the car and maybe head out to a polling place to vote or drop off your ballot. Meteorologist Iris Hermosillo joining us in studio, social distancing with a quick check of that election day most accurate forecast.
Absolutely. And you know, the weather should not slow you down as you're heading to the polls here in the valley. Temperatures this morning in the 50s, 60s and 70s. Yeah, we've got a mixed bag. A few spots in the Southeast Valley in the 50s, most areas in the 60s. And for Phoenix Sky Harbor, still holding on to those 70s. It's officially 72 degrees at the airport right now. We'll stay in those low 70s through the early morning hours. Then by 10 a.m., we're right back into the 80s. And then by 2 o'clock, we're right back into the 90s with a high today of 93 degrees in Phoenix. So it's going to be a warm election day. Plan for that. If you're heading out this afternoon, maybe take some water with you so you can hydrate in case you do have to wait in line. Low 90s for highs on Wednesday, then getting warmer on Thursday, possibly into record-setting temperatures by Thursday. But we've got some big changes by the weekend. I'm going to track the latest storm system that's going to bring a significant cool down in that 7 days still ahead.
Okay, thank you very much, Iris. Appreciate that. The polls, they are now open here across Arizona, and we're showing you these live pictures here. That is Burton Barr Library in Phoenix. We saw people lining up, social distanced earlier this morning. Now they are moving inside. The polls in our state will be open until 7 o'clock this evening. And remember, if you're in line at that time, keep waiting. There are more than 100 voting centers open in Maricopa County alone. And if you still have that early ballot, you can still drop it off in an official ballot box. Just go to locations.maricopa.vote to see wait times and the locations near you.
It's a great reminder, Kaylee, and already we're seeing record voter turnout in Arizona. Early voting totals for Maricopa County now surpassing the total votes cast in 2016. Statewide, more than 2.6 million people voted early this year, also shattering those numbers from 2016. Now, one of the biggest groups expected to turn out to vote this election, the Latinx community. Our Carla Navarrete live this morning at a voting center in Phoenix. Carla, set the scene for us. How's it looking out there right now?
Yeah, good morning to you guys. Very, very busy. Just in the last minute or so, someone here announced the polls are now opened, and the line that was out here just a few seconds ago moved on inside. People have been showing up since before the polls were open at 6 o'clock. They started showing up at about 5:30, 5:15 this morning. The parking lot here is full and folks are ready to cast their vote. Now, you were talking about a segment of the population, the Latino vote. It's an integral part of the changing political landscape here in Arizona. One expert telling us, quote, the way Latinos vote in this election, so will Arizona. Now, the expert is also telling me what is driving Latinos to the polls. He says the pandemic, COVID-19, Latinos affected by this twice as likely than their white counterparts. Also, there is education that's on the ballot. There are 1.1 million children in Arizona in the K through 12 system. Over half of them are considered Latinos. And of course, immigration. In fact, we're told the Dreamers, those who were brought here as children, raised as Americans but can't vote, heading out over the last couple of days and energizing the vote. Take a listen.
And we are no longer that solid red meat, red state. We're very much a state in flux for two reasons. One is because we're a fast-growing state, so we have all the newcomers coming into the state. But the other one are the young Latinos who are coming up of age, many of them turning 18, That wasn't the case 5 years ago, 6 years ago. There weren't enough Latinos who are 18 yet. Well, now we know. I mean, there are Latinos who are turning 18 all the time. Every 30 seconds, a Latino becomes 18 and eligible to vote across the United States.
Now we want to talk a little bit about the political landscape in the House and the Senate. In order for the House to turn to a Democratic majority, they need 2 more seats. The Senate needing 3 in order to turn that into a majority. I'll tell you, Nick and Kaylee, the House here in Arizona has not had a Democratic majority since 1966. That's nearly 50 years. So a lot will be happening tonight. A lot will be happening over the next couple of days that will determine how Arizona looks for the next couple of years. For now, reporting live in South Phoenix, I'm Carla Navarrete, ABC 15 Arizona.
Yeah, just a few seats could really tip the balance of power in both chambers of the Arizona legislature. ABC 15's Carla Navarrete. Carla, thank you for that update.
Well, if you do have questions about the voting process or maybe need help voting, you can call the nonpartisan group Election Protection Arizona. That's 866-OUR-VOTE, or text VOTE HELP to 59271. And we also want you to know help is available in multiple languages. You'll want to stay with ABC 15 for complete election coverage throughout this day. World News Tonight with David Muir starts at a special time. That's 4:30 this afternoon, followed by an hour of local news, and then it is a 3-hour election night special from ABC News. We will continue to break in with live updates throughout the night. You can also watch us on the ABC 15 app on your favorite streaming platform.
Now, it all comes down to today for President Donald Trump and former Vice President Joe Biden. So what is the state of the race for the White House this morning? We spoke with ABC News political director Rick Klein about it.
Yeah, look, Donald Trump became president because he was able to crash the so-called blue wall, Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania. Those are must-wins for him again. If he's going to win the presidency, that's the easiest way back. The easiest way for Joe Biden is to take those states away. In addition to that, Biden is on offense in places including Florida, North Carolina, Georgia, Ohio, even Texas, certainly Arizona. All of those are other possibilities that could put Joe Biden potentially above the magic number of 270 electoral votes. Donald Trump, frankly, isn't on offense many places. There's some talk about Nevada. Minnesota is probably his best opportunity for a pickup. And in a world where he's able to hold on to Wisconsin and Michigan, keep an eye on Minnesota, and that could be critical. Again, just kind of making up ground somewhere else. But it's interesting that the battleground has opened up as much as it has.
Now, we also asked Rick about the record-breaking number of people voting this year, and he says no matter who wins, this is good for our country.
We're on track to have record turnout, both in terms of the total number of voters and potentially the larger voter participation that we've had in the modern era. And look, I think that's unabashedly a good thing. I don't know if those people are voting for Joe Biden or Donald Trump or a third-party candidate, but they're voting. And that, to me, says something. This country is a lot of things. It isn't apathetic at the moment. A lot of people have availed themselves of these new opportunities. They are voting. They're participating. States administer their elections. They determine the winners. ABC and other networks will make the projections.
And with that high turnout, Rick says there is a real possibility we won't know who the projected winner is tonight or maybe for a few days if it all comes down to Pennsylvania, especially, which doesn't start counting ballots until today and allows mail-in ballots to arrive until November 6th. New this morning, we are getting our first results of Election Day. Polls opening at midnight for 2 townships in New Hampshire. The results were mixed, with Joe Biden getting 10 votes and President Donald Trump getting 16 votes there.
Election Day clearly coming in the shadow of the COVID-19 pandemic. This morning, the coordinator of the White House Coronavirus Task Force, Dr. Deborah Birx, warning the current spread of the virus is worse than recent test data is showing. According to an internal memo obtained by the Washington Post, Dr. Birx says the nation is entering the most concerning and most deadly phase of the pandemic, and she told officials to brace for 100,000 new cases every day over the next week. Birx also writing that, quote, half of the U.S. is in the red or orange zone for cases despite flat or declining testing. So here at home, another school district choosing to stay remote for the rest of the semester. The nearly 6,500 students in the Phoenix Elementary School District will continue with virtual learning through at least January 14th. That's Isaac, Alhambra and Roosevelt elementary school districts, as well as the Phoenix Union High School District, making similar decisions.
609, a West Valley school mourning the loss of one of their own. Today, a coach at Tullison High School has passed away from COVID-19. Ash Friedrich led multiple athletic programs at Tullison, including the football and baseball teams. And despite a lack of experience, one coach says he was exactly what that school needed.
You know, I had explained to him, I said, well, the things that you bring to the table can't really be taught easily. We can teach you the baseball stuff. That's easy to teach. But the way you connect with students, the rapport you have, we really needed somebody to be the full-time good cop.
The Tullison Union High School District had already canceled football and volleyball games.
Well, the pandemic has changed how we work and in some cases changing entire industries. Ahead, it's a new tool to help you land a new gig in this ever-changing world we are now living in.
Could younger voters decide the election here in Arizona? They've already made a splash before the polls even opened.
Hey everyone, I'm Tom Yamas at ABC News Election Headquarters in New York. This incredible interactive set is going to be our nerve center on election night. Leading all the action, George Stephanopoulos right here with our powerhouse political team, including David Muir and Lindsay Davis. We're also going to have Cecilia Vega at the White House, Mary Bruce at Biden campaign headquarters reporting on all the breaking news. We have our team of correspondents fanned out across all the battleground states covering every angle. We also have our ballot watch teams. These are our legal eagles looking out for any irregularities in the voting patterns. Plus, our political strategists right over here, including Governor Chris Christie and Rahm Emanuel. Plus, Nate Silver from 538. Our chief White House correspondent, Jonathan Karl, and myself will be right over here on the set. I'll be operating the big board tonight. This is where we'll be watching the votes come in real time. Which states go to Joe Biden or President Trump? When we have a winner, if we have a winner, we'll see it right here on the board. It's the biggest night in politics. It all starts Tuesday night at 7 o'clock.
All right, Tom Yamas there. Thank you. We look forward to that team coverage tonight on ABC 15. Here on the West Coast, our ABC News Election Night Special will start at 6, followed by ABC 15 News from 9 until 10:35.
Well, time right now is 6:14. Let's talk about that most accurate forecast. I want to start off by showing you what's happening on Desert Doppler radar because we've got a little bit of green on the map across that northern pocket of our state where we are tracking a few very, very light showers. I'm also keeping a close eye on a few sprinkles that popped over some of that higher terrain in far southern Pinal County. For the valley, you'll notice some passing clouds this morning. Like yesterday, you may notice some virga. It's that rain that falls from the clouds kind of creates those streaks that make for a beautiful view, but much of that evaporates before it hits the ground. So I'm not expecting any rain in the valley. However, a different story up north where we've got some light showers and even a few rumbles of thunder moving through spots like Prescott, up near Ash Fork and along the I-40. And these showers also tracking up towards the Grand Canyon. Flagstaff, you're quiet now, but you've got a chance for showers and thunderstorms as we go through the day today. I don't expect any significant impacts for you across northern Arizona, but know that you may get caught under some showers or even a thunderstorm here as we go through the day. So it might not be a bad idea to grab an umbrella, toss it in the back seat of your car. You may need it, especially if you're outside by chance, maybe waiting in line at the polls. And that'll be the case across northern Arizona, as you can see going into this afternoon. Here's 1 o'clock, a few showers and thunderstorms popping in spots like Flagstaff, Munns Park, those areas. The valley, again, you'll see some passing clouds, but for us, it's mainly going to be warm weather that we're dealing with here as we get into this afternoon. Right now, not feeling bad though. We're in the 60s to 70s across central Arizona. Phoenix Sky Harbor right at 72 degrees. It's 53 in Prescott, down near freezing in Flagstaff, coats in the high country along with maybe that umbrella. 48 degrees in Heber and 34 temperature in Window Rock. Across the valley, a little bit of a mixed bag of temperatures, mostly 60s. You'll notice Mesa checking in at 63. It's also 63 in Ahwatukee and 61 in Surprise. 70s in Deer Valley and in Cape Creek and at Phoenix Sky Harbor. But check out Chandler, Gilbert and Maricopa down into the upper 50s this morning. So a little bit of a chill in the air here early this morning. I don't think you're going to need a heavy sweater, maybe a light jacket, a light sweater here as you step outside. You won't need it for long though. Temperatures back into the 80s by 10 a.m. and then we're back into the 90s by about 2 o'clock before a high today of 93 degrees. I think we'll see that peak temperature by around 4 p.m. in case you're in line at the polls by around 6 p.m. Temperatures into the upper 80s by then. Our 30-year average high temperature is 81. We're going to be running more than 10 degrees above average with highs right around 92 to 93 in most valley cities. 93 for a high in Phoenix, mid 70s in Prescott, upper 70s in Payson. Flagstaff tops out at 68 degrees, again with that chance for some showers and thunderstorms through the afternoon. The next few days are staying warm, and by Thursday we may actually set a record. The record on Thursday is 93. I'm forecasting 96 degrees for a high on Thursday. 90s through Friday, but then look at the huge changes coming our way this weekend. 70s on Saturday, 60s on Sunday, and mid-60s for highs on Monday. More breezes and rain chances. We'll talk more about that rain potential in the next half hour.
Iris, thank you. 6:17 on this election day. Young Arizona voters are expected to come out in record numbers this election. Some doing mail-in ballots, others heading to the polls right now.
Our Adam WALTZ is in the WALTZ, I should say, is in the East Valley live at a voting center in Mesa. Good morning.
Good morning, Nick. Kaylee, a statement made by young voters has some serious data back behind it. More than 5 million young voters in that 18 to 29 age range have already voted early or absentee in 2020 elections, and that includes more than 3 million votes in key battleground states. Now, that's according to the Center for Information and Research on Civic Learning and Engagement, or CIRCLE. As of October 27th, just a week ago, Arizona voters in that age group have cast 225,000 ballots, with more than 590,000 requested. And if you're wondering how younger voters are getting their peers to sign up, their message is to stay local.
We focus a lot on local elections, so I think it's a lot easier to kind of communicate to a voter how their voice is more, might be more impactful in these local elections. We do a lot of phone banks for like state legislature races, and those can come down to like 200 votes or less.
Right now, I'm outside the Nile Coffee Shop in Mesa, just on Main Street. It's a place where you can vote. You can drop off your ballot until 5 p.m. In Mesa, Adam WALTZ, ABC15 Arizona.
Yeah, Adam, it would be interesting to see, especially with those exit polls, what the young vote actually does in this case. Thank you. Stay safe out there, of course, too. This year's election is also racking up a record amount of wagers. According to our partners at Newsy, more than $350 million have been spent at the Betfair exchange. That's the world's largest online betting marketplace. Only $9 million was spent on the Super Bowl. Just to compare that, betting on the current election will remain open until a winner is officially declared.
If the election does go on for days because they're counting mail-in votes or because there's legal challenges, this will just go on and it could mount in the billions.
And we want to point out wagering on political races is illegal in the U.S., so these bets are coming from overseas.
I'm glad you clarified that,
yes,
right?
Just in case. We don't want you getting in trouble.
Hey, how about this? Identifying a new career path based on the skills you already have. New for you this morning, it's a new resource for anyone who is searching for a job.
And it's the biggest race in all of Arizona, a seat on the U.S. Senate. Yesterday, we spoke live with Mark Kelly. In 20 minutes, we will speak with Senator Martha McSally about the race.
And voters casting ballots across this nation, nearly 100 million people have already voted early or through the mail. Today, the final votes will begin to be tallied. 6:23, and if you are in an industry that was hit hard by this pandemic, maybe you're considering a career change, LinkedIn has a new tool and it can help. It's called Career Explorer. Just put in your most recent job, then it shows in-demand jobs that are a strong match for your skill set.
We know from hiring managers that soft skills are highly in demand right now, especially in a COVID world. Those are skills like communication, thought leadership, management, and we know that those are just as important to those hard skills.
LinkedIn found people who have 5 or more skills on their profile are discovered by recruiters 27 times more. So if you were, say, a food server, the career experts there at LinkedIn are saying you have 3/4 of the skills needed to be a customer service specialist. And it is one of the most in-demand jobs right now, with similar skills like time management. Walmart is laying off its robots and giving the work back to people. The retailer has been testing inventory-taking robots in about 500 stores to help keep up with out-of-stock items. It found human workers did get similar results. So in a statement, Walmart is saying it's learned a lot about how robots can help associates, and it may still test other tech for tracking inventory.
Well, how would you like to support local businesses and get a gift at the same time? Sounds like a win-win, right? Roosevelt Row in downtown Phoenix is launching a new program. It is called Roosevelt Row Awards. If you purchase items from 10 unique locations, you'll get a gift. Then a grand prize is given out at the end of the month. Visit rooseveltrow.org for more details.
Well, there is a new grand champion of YouTube, the website announcing a new most viewed video. We apologize in advance for this earworm that will likely be stuck in your head today. Uh-oh.
Baby shark, racking up 7 billion views. It takes the crown from Luis Fonsi and Daddy Yankee's hit Despacito. Remember that one?
Oh,
that
yeah.
was catchy.
And sassy too.
Yes, I like
so
that
we'll balance
one.
it out. We'll balance that out. Okay, then they went back to that sound. We're trying to help you out. Up next at 6:30, the state, the country, even the world watching with bated breath. Election day is finally here. From the White House to the State House, our team coverage continues for you.
I'm Nohelani Graff, taking you inside the tabulation center in Maricopa County. I'm going to talk about what the workflow will look like today and what happens if they still find a ballot where the signature doesn't match. That's coming up.
And this is an election day like no other one we have seen before, making sure each and every vote counts. Polls are now open in nearly all 50 U.S. states. Right now, you're looking live at one of them as we head to break. More election day coverage coming up after this short break. Stay with us.